Good afternoon, Tanya Rose. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Shawn. I'm excellent. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Did Tanya? I didn't see you bobbing your head with my intro music.
I tried. Okay, you see, I tried not to do it because I'm a little awkward going this way.
no,
So,
no, no worries, no worries. So, Tanya, welcome today with to Lending with Purpose. These are conversations that we have with clients and friends, and introductions to various forms of information and professionals like yourself,
awesome.
resources that we use, that we look for, that we never knew existed or wanted to learn more about. So, welcome to our show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to just talk to you in general, just about weddings and what's going on with them and what's going on with you and your company and just how you actually help them. So I'm interested in the conversation. Thank you for having me.
No worries, no worries. So, as I was thinking about uh, the story I would tell today, so Tanya, I typically either do a quick story or some sort of a did you know around the sort of lending aspect. So, lending first part, purpose at the end, right? And so
Okay.
I was thinking back to when I got married. So this year, next month actually will be 18 years.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And so, 18 years almost later, two kids. My wife and I have owned together. We've owned two houses. But when we met and we started dating and such, later on we were able
Right.
to purchase our own homes. While we were dating. So my wife, girlfriend at the time, she had purchased a townhome that she lived. I did the opposite, and I purchased an investment property, and
Okay.
I rented because for me, like when opportunities show themselves, I want to I don't know if take advantage of is the right choice of words,
Right.
but to seize the opportunity. So I had an opportunity to
Yeah.
purchase an investment property, Tanya, back in wow, it's 20 something years ago, right? The early 2000s, not the 1900s like the young kids are saying these days. They ask about the 1900s, but um
Right.
I think about that particular investment property helped me to get the down payment that
Okay.
we needed to purchase our home together. So my wife,
Good
girlfriend,
for you.
fiance, she had her stuff together. You
Good
know,
for you.
amazing credit. She had money saved. She was going to be using,
Oh,
you
you
know,
hit the jackpot.
oh yeah, I did. I did. She was going to be using the proceeds from the sale of the property to purchase the home. And
Oh, nice.
here I am, rebuilding my credit, and I was in the workforce and doing pretty well. I'd saved some money, not
Right.
not quite enough money to hold up on my end of the bargain, right? And for me, with the pride and everything, I couldn't go into this relationship not holding my end of
Right.
the bargain up, right?
That's
So
true.
so what I found, Tanya, is that I could leverage this particular property. I could use the equity that was in this property
Okay.
and pull the money out, and I could use that money to for the down payment on our new house, and that's how I was able to come up with my part of it. In addition to that, it gave me money to reimburse myself and pay for the credit card bill I had for this ring that uh,
Okay.
that I had purchased.
Smart.
Yeah, the ring and such. And and then I had another property as well that I was able to leverage, and that helped to pay for part of the wedding. I was
Okay.
blessed too because we did get some help with that. It was more traditional, I guess. And you could talk about this if it's a thing now for the bride's family to contribute the part of the
I'm sorry, but in most circumstances now, the bride and the groom are paying for their own wedding with
okay.
some assistance and help,
So we
but
got
only if you are from a country that is has weddings as a cultural event and the entire family is involved. Do the parents still pay?
I see. I see. So we got some help. I won't take that away from my in-laws. We got some help we did have
Awesome.
to contribute a bit to as well ourselves, and
Okay.
and the rehearsal dinners and just all kinds of stuff. So I was able to also take enough money out of the property to pay for the honeymoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we want to do that. So
Yeah,
you don't have any bills after. I think what you did was smart.
exactly. So we're going to talk more about that, but I wanted to bring that story full circle because as I was speaking to you earlier and just thinking about what I was going to be talking about today. I thought about my personal experience and what led me to that, right? And
Right.
the importance of using your resources around you and leveraging any assets
Yes.
that you might have to help you land in a comfortable place when you are married. So, Tanya Rose, from T Rose International. I'm You're gonna do bridal shows. You're gonna do a much better job at introducing yourself. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Um, so if you can just tell us who you are and what you do, then we'll get started in our conversation.
Sure. My name is Tanya Waltrick. I am the CEO of T Rose International Management Group, which is the home of T Rose International Bridal Shows, our charity event, Hats, Tea, and Fashion, Pink and Black Affair, which we just held, along with two other non bridal events, which is an event planners event that is a strategic education for event planners, and the International Women in Business Luncheon that we host every year in November to resume back into November 2022. So that's my life in a nutshell. Besides having an awesome family, I've been married to my husband for 22 years. And I am so grateful for the support of him and my family. My children are grown. I have a 21-year-old granddaughter this year. Can you believe it?
Wow,
So
21.
yes, she turned 21 and I was like, "Oh my goodness, what are we doing?" So, I'm excited for what is in front of us and excited to get back to live events and weddings. I'm super excited about all of that.
Okay, so let's transition into that then. So we're going to be talking about weddings and such today, but live events and then weddings. Why,
Yes.
you said you're excited to get back into that. Like, tell us what it's been like throughout this pandemic.
Well, if you have a love of really being with people, of seeing people and being social, and especially wanting to give or help engage couples, you really miss the whole wedding market as it stood before the pandemic. We did live bridal shows. So we actually had to postpone them. And then we postponed them for 1 year. And then the beginning of this year, we still couldn't do them. So our first live event we couldn't do until July of this year. We held our first event in DC. And we are getting ready for our third live event on October the 24th at the Baltimore Marriott downtown for our Baltimore bridal show. So we're just really excited. We have two more after that, one in Laurel, November the 7th, and our last one in Annapolis, December the 12th. I'm just super excited to see everybody. And they seem to be super excited to see us. But things have changed. So we not only have to be careful, we have a cap. We encourage our vendors to wear masks because they're meeting everybody. And we let the general audience decide what they're going to do because we don't mandate at the door. I feel that that's getting into something else. But we are safe and follow all of the protocols. So I thought we were safe to open, and so far we have been. So going through the pandemic with engaged couples, first of all, there was a mandate that you couldn't have any events. And then when they started to open up, you could do 10 or then you could do 50. So a wedding with 10 people, we started having micro weddings. Then the backyard and the garage weddings. with event decor specialists leading the way. A shout out to all of my event decor specialists who rehabbed backyards, garages, and living rooms for weddings extraordinaire with 10 people. And then we moved to 50. Then we finally moved to 100. And now most places are okay with 150. We still haven't really gotten back to the larger cultural weddings, the family weddings that usually take a couple of days to um, go through because of all of the traditions that they have. We do have some places that will accept those weddings in Maryland, but for the most part, they are still 150 or under. That seems to be the comfortable place right now. But we are so excited because things are changing, things are getting better. And so we look forward to having weddings that are safe and larger.
Got it. So this is what I was thinking. So going back to my only experience is obviously me getting married, and I've been a part of some weddings, like been in them, but
Yes.
obviously I've only done it once. Um, it's
I
won't
can't
be
say
one.
that. I did it twice.
It's gonna be my one and only, right? And so I remember uh going maybe once to see did I see the dress? I'm not sure. I just remember, I don't know that I
No, you shouldn't
no,
have seen the dress,
no,
Shawn,
I did not see
until
the dress.
she came down the aisle.
You know what? I was in the parking lot waiting, like dropping her off. So the first time she went with her family and her parents and the
Okay.
bridesmaids and such, I just remember going to this place, sitting in the parking lot. Right.
Okay.
I do also though remember tasting like cakes.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
I
that's
did
one of the best parts, the
I
cake
didn't,
tasting,
I just
tasting the food.
I never met a cake and a sweet that I didn't like, but
Me
that
either, unfortunately.
during that time frame, I didn't feel, I felt like it was like a chore. It was a lot going on with it, right? I do my wife allowed me to be in charge of the entertainment. So
Okay, she
that
gave you a job. That's
gave me
good.
gave me that job. I do remember the rehearsal dinner was
Yes.
something that I took responsibility. But
Okay.
so the reason I'm asking these questions is I don't remember us attending a bridal show. Um, and so
Well, there were bridal shows when you got married, but I have to be I'll try to be as politically correct as I can. Brides of color or couples of color may have only had at that point limited access to find out about bridal shows and go to them and find their forever frienders. Now, it is the thing that you do. So, and that has come around. Um, I know that when I started doing bridal expos, we really wanted to serve the international community and folks who look like us, and some folks who didn't quite look like us, but were still having a problem finding vendors. So we found that it was just a niche that we were good at to have boutique bridal shows. They were small, they were intimate. You could really talk to everyone and really plan your wedding right there. You could set your appointments, you could make your deposits. And so that's what we continue to do. And so now there are lots of bridal shows, and we love that. We serve the ones that want to come to a boutique custom show. And we just love them from the door to when they leave. And so that is a dream of mine that has been in the making, and we've been in it for 10 going on 11 years.
that's all.
So, Shawn, I'm so happy to help engage couples, and I'm so happy that you're in the business of helping them.
Oh, absolutely. No, definitely. I'll speak to that in a bit. Um,
Yes.
But so, what I'm hearing is back in the day, like
Yes.
almost 20 years ago, uh,
Yes.
we could have been a lot more efficient, potentially by attending a wedding, a bridal show, because of what
Right.
you said. We could have had like a sort of a one-stop shop, all the vendors in one place, all the
Your event planner so
yeah,
that your
okay,
family wouldn't have to take over those duties, all of those things. Yes.
okay, understood. So, in regards to now, we're going to talk about expenses because we won't keep the people a long time. We'll obviously be sure to make sure that they understand how to get in contact with you, Tanya. But I want to move into the money piece. So I was looking.
Yes.
Let me pull up these numbers. So it says the average cost of a wedding ring. It used to be like, so back in 2018. Maybe I'm thinking it's because of the pandemic changed it, but the average cost was $7,829. So $7,800, almost $8,000, right?
That
For
sounds about right.
so it says, but the average couple spent in 2020 um 3756. So about half of that amount in 2020. I'm just not sure if the numbers haven't caught up yet, like in regards to whatever they're using, but let's
Right.
just say $5,000 to $8,000 is the average expense on a wedding ring. Um, is that, in your opinion, about accurate? Right, number
That's
one,
about accurate. I'd say let's go up to 10,000.
up to 10,000, and then
Yes.
how have you found? Because again, in addition to that, I found the average cost of an actual wedding um is
Hmm?
what is the average cost of a wedding before I can as I look up.
50,000.
Oh wow. Um yeah, it says nearly $45,000
Yes.
plus the $5,000 to $10,000 for a ring.
Yes.
How does that work for people? Like, what are you seeing? Like, how are they coming up with this money, and how is it affecting them in the future?
Well, that's a great
I,
question.
I didn't
I
spend that
think
much money for my wedding.
I think it is the things that you can use as leverage. Remember, you talked about that before. I also think it's not going over what you can afford. Everybody cannot jump to a $50,000 wedding. They just can't. And so you have to decide the things that are really important. Now, what has happened that has really cut the cost of a wedding this year, and I would say if you got married in 2020, was that now you could count your house as your venue. If you had a great backyard or you had a neighbor that had a great backyard, you could actually get a wedding decor specialist to come in with everything from balloons to pipe and drape to rental furniture and make you feel like you were in a bridal magazine when you got married. So instead of paying all that to a venue, you divided that money between the decor specialist, the things that you had to rent to make it look like you wanted it to to look when you were to choose a venue, and then the caterer for the food. And so you were able to do so much more in the pandemic with the money than you are going to be able to do outside of it. So that was the really, really great thing about having 2020 weddings in the backyard. I saw a couple of converted garages that were absolutely fabulous weddings. And kudos, I'm telling you, kudos to the event planners that were just on it and thrive and are still thriving. 2022, there will be more weddings recorded in our history since 1984.
Why?
We have weddings on top of weddings for 2022. I have some event planners that said, please do not call us for 2022 weddings. We are booked. We are booked for 2021. We are booked for 2022. Please call us for 2023 weddings.
Let me stop you. Let me interrupt.
Yes.
Is that because the folks were waiting because they couldn't
Yes.
have their weddings during the pandemic, so they
Yes.
put it out?
Yes.
Oh
They
my.
did. They did. I'm telling you that the wedding professionals that I'm talking to, from photographers to caterers, are double booked. And if they have teams, they're triple booked on that day to be able to service as many weddings as they can.
Wow. So for all my friends and colleagues out here listening and professionals, she just told you and gave you a sort of a hack and some insight
Yes.
where you may want to focus your time, energy, and efforts in
Yes.
the next couple of years,
Yes.
especially creatives like the wedding photographers and such, and those that are providing services to the event space. Thank you for that.
Yes. And you, Shawn, because once they get married, if they have been together in an apartment during the pandemic, they may be ready to come out of that apartment into a home. And then you have those that are trying to decide, okay, now that we're coming out of this and we have a $50,000 pot, we've been able to save so much money during the pandemic because of things we weren't doing, going out, spending money, those sorts of things. So now we have a healthy pot. We are telling them that if you saved $50 to $75,000, please consider splitting it in half and using half as a down payment for your future, for your home. So we have been preaching that for a couple of years, but more so now. In every show that we produce, we do a Married Essential seminar, and we thank you for being part of the one that we had in Northern Virginia. It is extremely important that you try to get off on the right foot in your married life. And how cool is it that you can do that financially by talking to someone who has knowledge, who can teach you what you should be doing to get ready for home buying and mortgages? So we really appreciate you, Shawn, because I mean, do we really become equipped on knowing how to do that? I mean, even as adults, who teaches us that? So we're so good. We're just so grateful for professionals like you that can come in and talk to us and give us real education. Not only that, but steps, like real steps. One, two, three. What do you do before you look for the home? So that is just so valuable right now.
Right, right. Now I really appreciate the opportunity, and I thought it was amazing. And so, again, folks that are listening, she's 100% accurate, telling the truth. They had a Married Essentials program there, and it was an eye opener. So it was myself as a mortgage professional, right? There was a realtor there. There was an
Yes.
insurance agent, as well as I think
A
there was
financial advisor.
a financial advisor
Yes.
and also a credit expert there as
Yep.
well. And I thought it was pretty amazing. And when I heard you say that to the couples, it was like, in some settings, um, it would be a big risk, right, for you to tell someone to say, "Hey, take half of your money and take it elsewhere outside of the business that you would be potentially giving to our vendors or potentially
They're
using."
still giving it to them. It's
Right,
just in a different amount. That's it. They're still
right,
using the same vendors. So
right,
they will get money for their services.
right.
It's just that you're there. If you're helping a couple getting married, you're a wedding professional. We all have very good sense. So if you're going to tell us, hey, I'm going to just have half of the budget because I'm going to try to buy a home. Oh my goodness, how happy are we for you? Ecstatic.
Yeah, yeah, and kudos to you for doing that. I really appreciated that opportunity, and I saw a bunch of heads nodding and some questions that were asked, and some of the people
Yes.
didn't really understand and know how uh possible it was, so to speak, right, to be able to how attainable it was to be able to purchase a home, and
Yes.
the steps that it would take to do so. And many people, Tanya, don't even realize that these days you don't have to have the 20%
Yeah.
down payment, like, you know, our
Right.
parents did, or, you know, folks that were purchasing, you know, decades ago, right? Um,
Right.
and so also I think folks need to really understand what their budget looks like. So I talked about this as an ideal pay,
Yes.
right? What is it going to
Yes,
look
you
like for
did.
you to get ideal? But then as you start to get more amenities and such amenities, um, you and you check more boxes, it starts to get more expensive, right?
Right.
Then you want to think about your stretch goal. Like, what does that budget look like on your maximum? And so between the two gives you a price range to shop. And so I think it's important for you to stay between that price range because,
Yes.
look, you and I both know that, you know, if you get overextended in your marriage, it creates issues, right?
Yes.
You know, and it's my understanding from what I've read, most divorces um, are related to some sort of financial struggle or some type of financial issue. And so I think it's important, like you mentioned, to get off on a good start. So
Right. It is.
yeah, no, that was very good. And what do you have any stories around that, like on couples that you've encountered throughout the years? I have a good one for my own. I'm just speaking from personal because that's what,
Okay, I want to hear yours.
well, what moved the needle for me in business. It was right before I started this company. It was a 14 over a decade into my career before
Okay.
my why really, you know, kind of it just sunk in at the time. I always had a really good why as to why I was in this business, but it became so clear in 2016 when my wife and I we built a house together, our first house. At the time,
Right.
our kids were 7, 8 years old, right? And so the joy that we got from that entire experience was really amazing because our kids were born into the home we had beforehand.
Oh,
So
nice.
we had lived there and we brought them home to the, you know, from the hospital.
Right.
So they weren't a part of us buying that house. They weren't a part of us, you know, furnishing it and things of that nature.
Right.
Back in 2016, when we built that house, our kids were old enough to understand what was going on. And so to hear my daughter talking about this the color she wanted to paint her bedroom, right?
Oh,
Or
nice.
as we looked at the floor plan or as they were building the house, um, uh, you know, her saying, I want this area, or I want this room, or whatever it might be, or my son saying, you know, are we going to have a nice basement so that I can play video games or a backyard
Oh, that's
to,
awesome.
to play ball and such, or my wife talking about things that she wanted in the house. And so me, the whole time I'm sitting back and I'm like, this is what it's all about. Right.
Yes.
So number one,
Yes.
I get to help people go through these types of experiences, right? The same experience that I went through and I'm going through,
Yes.
I get to help that. And so for me, people don't play fair when they involve their kids now, because
Oh,
anytime they say
okay.
they have a family, I just forget about everything and I got tunnel vision and all I can think about is how can I help this family,
Right.
you know, create this opportunity to get this, if it's their dream, to get this opportunity to own a house the way that they want to own it for their family.
That's
So
awesome.
that's what marriage has meant to me and taught me, like in this business
Yes.
and these experiences. And so anytime I hear about a family, and a married couple, obviously, because you know, if their goal is to have a family, right? I still want to be a part of it all because I just remember
Yes.
what it was like for me to go through that same experience. So that's my story.
Well, I just thank you. We have a lot of great stories that have come out of the bridal shows. We have an awesome real estate agent, Michelle Player, that you met for this DMV area, and she has been successful in selling homes to our engaged couples, and we couldn't be more proud to have her as part of the Merit Essential Seminar team. And so I'm just ecstatic. And as you said, we had Alicia Jones with you,
Yes.
who I absolutely adore. And she is so good at everything that she does when it comes to Primerica. On our Baltimore side, we have Odell Grace. And then, of course, we have the amazing Karen Parsons. that, talked about the debt, and so we just are really quite lucky in the professionals we found to work with um, engaged couples for their, upcoming life, their life together. And Shawn, thank you just so much for all that you added to the conversation and continue to add.
Yeah, you dropped some jewels, some big gems in here. So catch us on the replay, everyone, and tell us,
Yes.
Tanya Waltrick, how we can connect with you and your organization. Like, just let us know how we can connect. We'll put it up in the comments, and so people can see it.
Sure. For the bridal shows, it's www.trosebridalshows.com. We're giving away a free ticket to anyone who wants to come to the Baltimore show on October 24th. You just click on I have a code word ticket, and you can use the word Shawn. Lets me know that you came from this replay or this live, and you will get a free ticket to the show because of that.
Thank you. That's cool. I
You're
witnessed
welcome.
with my own eyes. I think you gave away 3 or 4 trips too, as well.
Oh, for this one, it's our anniversary. So we're giving away 5 honeymoons. Three of them are to the Bahamas. One is to Paris and one is to Italy. So we're really going to show out this time, Shawn.
Yeah, the one couple
So we
wanted
have,
to Spain. They want a trip to Spain, and then it was my
that's right.
that they could convert it to anywhere, and I think they chose a safari, African safari.
Yes, yes, they did.
Wow, wow, that's awesome. So we're gonna put the your information up in the comments here so that everybody
Awesome.
can see it. I appreciate it. So before we let you go, um, we're gonna get into our purpose piece. Um,
Okay.
and so dead or alive, one person, one question. So Tanya, you get breakfast, lunch, coffee, dinner,
Okay.
email, something like that. Um, who would it be, and what question would you ask?
Okay. The person that I would want to talk to is alive.
Okay.
Her name, she is a poet by the name of Nikki Giovanni.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I loved all of her poems. I was introduced to her as a young kid who wrote poems. I was going to be an English major. I went to a private 4-year school that she was coming to speak to. And the event was canceled for some reason, but my birthday is on September the 12th. And that's the date of the letter she wrote me because I was a big fan and I received it after that. But she wrote it on my birthday. I have it in a frame. I'm so proud of it. But the question that I would ask her is, what does she see for the future for our culture and our world? I would love to get her answer to that question.
That's an amazing question. She'd have a lot to talk about
I
because
think she would.
yeah, based on the writings and her poetry,
Yes.
commentary, that would be coming from a great perspective too as well.
Yes.
It's a great question. Ah, wow. I don't know what to say after that one. Hey, I hope you get that opportunity.
Yes, I hope I do too, because I know that she was still on tour before the pandemic. So I'm hoping that I will be able to see her somewhere. And I already have her letter, but how awesome would it be for me to actually see her and be able to talk to her in person? That would be a dream of mine for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, thank you again so much for joining us today. Um,
Thank you,
Tanya,
Shawn.
yeah, I tell everybody it'd be such a shame for us to have these relationships and these contacts, right, in our network and not be able to share them. And so
Yes, thank you.
I'm grateful that you came on board, because this is something that I really feel like our network needs to hear. There are many people in my life that are going through this process right now.
Yes,
And I think you are an amazing resource on that, but also as it relates to your whole financial picture in general, like in regards to home ownership, I think it's a
yes.
perfect, no pun intended, a perfect marriage between the
That's
two.
awesome.
And so everybody just do your best to remain as safe and healthy as possible. If there's anything that we can do to help in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, thank you, Tanya, and everyone. We'll see you next week at 2 o'clock.
Thank you so much.